What's going on, guys? This is your Blockbuster critic, and in case you didn't know, a long time ago I used to work for Blockbuster, and I gotta say, out of all the jobs I've worked, Blockbuster was probably the most fun I've ever had and probably the most miserable time I've ever had working. But what made it so much fun was that I trolled the entire corporate office. I made them spend so much money just concentrating on me. I made them dedicate their workforce in their legal department, human resource department, and loss prevention department, all on me, over some videos. Gotta say, that was fun. Having to talk to some of their department heads at the corporate office, oh man, those are fun times. But as we all know, Blockbuster is dead. Dead in the water, 6 feet under. I recently went back to my store, or at least drove by it, I should say, and it was empty. And within the entire DFW area, our store had the highest bit of profit. But evidently, that doesn't mean much to Blockbuster. I went to that store right before they closed down, and people still recognize me. Even the employees, who I did not know, knew who I was. They're still telling stories about me. I gotta be the most famous Blockbuster employee of all time. But anyway, why did they die? It's not just because they couldn't make the money, not just because, they didn't get the sales that they needed to stay open. Blockbuster died for a lot of reasons. And we're going to go through 10 reasons why Blockbuster died. This is the top 10 reasons why Blockbuster failed. Reason number 1, they did not evolve. They did not have the foresight to try to bring movies in different ways to the customer. Their analysts, the people they had in charge of evolving their company, just sat back and were like, brick and mortar will work forever. It didn't. They let Redbox rise from the ground and steal their market share. They let Netflix rise and steal their market share. You got the convenience of going to just a regular box and getting a movie, or you can get mailers, or you can stream online. They took that right out from Blockbuster's nose, and Blockbuster let it happen. How do you sit there with a company and not think of new ways to evolve and lower your cost while increasing profits? If they would have thought of that before, they probably wouldn't be closed down now. Reason number 2 why Blockbuster failed. Overstock. For example, when you send my store 300 copies of Sex in the City 2 in a predominantly black area, you know what you're doing? You're wasting money, you're wasting inventory, you're wasting labor, and you have a product that you will never be able to get rid of. 300 copies of Sex in the City 2. Let that just sink in. Does that make much sense? What happens in Blockbuster is that when we have a bunch of movie rentals that aren't renting, and I do believe the first day that Sex and the City 2 went on the shelf, we rented 10 copies out of 300 on new release day. Yeah, what a waste. But basically what we do with rentals that don't rent, we put them up for people to buy used. But guess what? No one wanted to buy them. And in order to get these movies prepped to be put on sale, you have to pull the amount of movies off the shelf. You have to scan each one into the system to take it off of the rental lines. You then have to create new labels for them. You then have to make sure they're all priced correctly. You have to move them all over to the sales area and make sure there's enough space for them. It's a lot of work that goes into it. But guess what? They don't sell there. So you know what you then do? Soon you get a list that comes in from corporate to send such and such movies to such and such store. So you send another store about 50 copies of Sex and the City 2 used to buy. They get 50 copies they can't sell either. So they just go from store to store to store to store to store, and it's so much wasted labor. Just because they overstocked on a crappy movie no one wanted to watch. Yeah, and that's not the only movie. There is tons of examples. 300 copies of Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2. It's a vicious cycle. What are you doing, kitty? What are you doing? Oh, come here, my pretty kitty. Come here, my pretty kitty. Who's my pretty kitty? Who's my pretty kitty? Alright, go play. Now, reason number 3 why Blockbuster failed. Understock. So many people had to go to the red box. So many people had to get it on Netflix because we only got 20 copies of a big release movie that everyone wants, but we don't have any copies of. The Brave One with Jodie Foster. Fantastic movie. But we only had 20 copies of that movie. 20. Only 20. The movie was rented out in the first 10 minutes we opened. And from then on, we had no more movies to give people. And when you understock on a fantastic release like that, and Happy Feet, we had 100 copies of Happy Feet, and Happy Feet we got ranked for. People were coming to the store in droves for copies of Happy Feet. Do you know what happens when you don't have enough copies of the movie? People sit in the store for 20 minutes to an hour waiting for a copy to come back. Now, 20 copies? Store just opened? People are waiting the very same day for others to turn in that movie. That doesn't happen. That does not happen. That movie doesn't come back that same day. And when you have so many people in the store looking for a copy of that movie, do you know what they want you to do every second? They want you to check the drop box. Every couple of seconds, while you're still checking people out, while you're understaffed, and you're having a line all the way to the back of the store, you have to constantly check that drop box because people want that movie that you didn't get enough copies for. It's maniacal. That just adds more labor, more stress to the job that you're already having to do, which costs more money in the end. Reason number 4 why Blockbuster failed. Customer dissatisfaction. Oh man, this is a big one right here. Customers are your bread and butter to business. They give you money. You stay in business by getting their money. Customer happy equal money. But for some reason, Blockbuster wasn't doing a single thing to keep these customers satisfied. Like when they kept changing the prices of their movie rentals. How they kept changing the amount of days you can keep a certain rental. The price went up and up and up, came down a little bit, but went up again. The way they changed how much the movie passes cost, how much the game passes cost, how the movie pass worked, how the game pass worked, how the online trade-ins worked, what you can trade the online trade-ins for in the store. All this stuff kept changing. First there's no late fees, then there's late fees, then there's no restocking fees. But now restocking fees are gone, now the late fees are back again. It was crazy. And Blockbuster was really bad about their gift cards. You have no idea how many customers I got that came in with a gift card that they knew had $20 on it, $50 on it, but they haven't used it for about 1 to 2 years. But at Blockbuster, if you don't use that gift card real fast, that gift card will deactivate and that money will be gone. I've had a lot of pissed off customers about that. Grape and cranberry. Oh man, all organic. I got a Whole Foods right next door. So delicious. I had no idea all this organic stuff was so delicious. Anyway, back to the video. Oh God, and this is the real kicker. Talk about customer dissatisfaction. Oh man. Blockbuster wanted to compete with GameStop. So what does Blockbuster do? Hey everyone, we're gonna get Madden in real soon. Tell all your customers to pre-order Madden. And we'll have that copy here for them to get at midnight. But guess what? You get 20 people to pre-order the game. When all the games come in, guess how many copies you have? 6. Yeah. Yeah. You got people to pre-order and put down $60 for a game, and you don't even have their copy in when the game comes out. And that happened every single time. Every game they want us to force customers to pre-order, they would never send us enough copies. It just blew my mind. How do you do that? Our customers hated Blockbuster. But the one thing that kept them coming back was us employees. They loved us. Trust me, when those people walked out and said they're going to Netflix, they mean it, and I generally never saw them again. Anyway, reason number 5 why Blockbuster failed. The mistreatment of employees. You guys have no idea how poorly Blockbuster treated their employees. You guys know how every company has one of those anonymous hotlines? You know how you're supposed to report sexual harassment? At Blockbuster, if you reported sexual harassment, you got fired. And the other person that was doing the harassment got fired. You're trying to avoid a problem by reporting it so it can be taken care of. And in the end, you get fired. That makes no sense. And then at Blockbuster, raises? Bonuses? What is that? If you're looking for one of those in Blockbuster, you're dreaming! You're asleep! We probably got a bonus like once or twice out of the nearly 3 years I worked there. Oh, and guess what? The amount of work you have to do at Blockbuster usually requires about 3 or 4 people to get it all done a day. Generally they're at the same time. But at Blockbuster, we're going to save some money and give these fools only 20 hours each to get everything done. And that's 20 hours a week for each employee. So that means you only have 2 people there at the same time. And the poor store manager, holy crap. The store managers get it right up the rectum from Blockbuster because they're on salary. And since the regular employees, since we don't have enough at the same time to get everything done, the store manager's got to work 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week just to get everything done. It was horrible. And then, every single store manager at Blockbuster that was coming up on 10 to 15 years of service in Blockbuster. About to retire at Blockbuster. Goodbye. Terminated. Hello, new hire, store manager. I've known plenty of store managers that's happened to, and that really did piss me off. Because they're great people who dedicate a lot of their time and dedicated years to Blockbuster, only to get screwed in the end. Reason number 6 why Blockbuster failed. No advertisements. There were 0 advertisements for Blockbuster. Granted, they couldn't afford it. But generally, some people would come into the store and be like, you guys are still open? Blockbuster still exists? And that was about 3 to 4 years ago, people were saying this. How do you let people know you exist? How do you let people know that you're open? How do you let people know that you're running sales? How do you let people know that there's no late fees? Even their online advertisements fail. There was one advertisement that said, Blockbuster Online, now renting games! Hooray! We want to rent games from Blockbuster Online, don't we? But even that failed. Because they tell you to come rent games from us online, but they don't have the games you're looking for. And we'll get into that one later. Reason number 7 why Blockbuster failed. Half doing everything. And I mean absolutely everything. Every new project, every new sale Blockbuster tries to do, they half do it. Which is why they lose money and fail. Like I said earlier, with the online advertisements for, hey, rent your games from Blockbuster Online. Guess what? They will not have a new game available for rental months after the game releases. What's the point? Like, let's say Halo 5 comes out tomorrow. You can rent it from Gamefly online. You can rent it from the Blockbuster stores or any other stores that rent games. The game's available tomorrow. Everywhere else. But if you want to rent that game online from Blockbuster, that game will not be available until May. What is the point? They just have to do everything. Like, they had a project in Africa, a multi-million-dollar project. And the CEO just said, well, we got to stop that project. Just cancel it. Bring everyone back from the Africa project. We need that money here. Why would you even do a project like that when you're already in the hole? There's this thing called Rock the Block stores, where they're going to go to every Blockbuster store and think, they get French chef. They're going to whip up a nice little cuisine dish and make it really nice. But maybe a few stores got that. The flat screen TVs, the new countertops, the new flat screen computer desktop, screens for the employees to check movies out on and everything. Only a few got that. Everyone else, no. The stores really could have used a makeover. They were so 80s, really. It's just amazing. And reason number 8, they changed their focus to so many things. First, they want you to sell TiVo. Then they want you to sell DirecTV. Then they want you to sell these candy bundles. Then they want you to sell these 3 for $20 movies, 4 for $20 movies, 5 for $20 movies. Then they want you to sell the movie passes. Then they want you to sell the rewards. Then they want you to sell the online. They had to change their focus to so many things. And you, the employee, would get in trouble if you did not meet their sales expectations. If you didn't sell enough snack bundles, oh no, they're going to take your hours. Isn't it just maniacal? You already don't have enough hours. Yet if you don't sell some bundles of candy, you're going to get even less hours. That was reason number 8. Blockbuster's ADD. They did not know what to concentrate on. They couldn't just focus on the one thing that they actually had a system for. They couldn't look at that and just perfect that one system. You can go and do whatever you want with everything else, but at least get that one thing that you're known for right and perfected. Reason number 9, the CEO of Blockbuster. Not just the CEO, but everyone else below him, like the analysts and the people who look at the numbers and they say, well, we should send that store 300 copies of Sex and the City too. It's like everyone at my corporate office was not a movie lover. They didn't like to watch movies. That's what it seemed like. Because the CEO would get on camera and he would speak to every Blockbuster establishment in the United States of America. And he would say, hey everyone, we're losing money. I need you, the employee in the store, if you see a penny or a dime or a nickel, and oh man, if you find a quarter, put it in your till. Just pick it up and put it in your cash register because we need that. Yeah. They were so desperate. They wanted the employees to pick up every little penny and put it in the register. Profits! Hooray! We're so worried about picking up pennies now. He was so out of touch with what was actually good films and good movies. This man got on camera and told everyone to push out smart people. It was a movie with Ellen Page, Dennis Quaid, and Sarah Jessica Parker. Yeah, the horse-faced woman of Hollywood. The ugliest woman I have ever seen. He got on there and said, it's got Sarah Jessica Parker. Let everyone know that and they're going to want to rent that movie. Sarah Jessica Parker. Now, here's me watching that video. A few months back, or whenever, I don't know what time it was, but we had 300 copies of Sex in the City 2. Release day, we only rented out 10. And we didn't sell any retail copies. We have the entire Sex in the City series, but they never get touched. They're dusty. So why do you think Sarah Jessica Parker is the one person to point out for this movie that's going to get people to rent it? He would rather we promote Sarah Jessica Parker over Dennis Quaid and Ellen Page. So out of touch with movies, yet he is the CEO of Blockbuster, making millions for not doing a darn thing. And reason number 10, which is kind of similar to reason number 9, but it's more at like a store management level. Some employees sucked. Some employees stole hundreds to thousands of dollars from Blockbuster. And it took them months to even find out. And by then the person was long gone. Let me tell you a story that the head of human resources told me at the corporate office in Dallas. He told me that there was one store manager, probably on his way to getting fired, but he stole the deposit from the store for months. For months, Blockbuster got no cash revenue from this store. There was no deposits put at the bank from that store for months. And he got away with it. He got away with stealing that much money for that long. Who is watching these things? Who's in charge to make sure there's a deposit every day or every other day? Some employees did Blockbuster pretty dirty. It's not just all corporate's fault. In-store employees are at fault as well, but it's also management. Because if you don't know who amongst your employees is shady, to get them out of there real fast. I had a couple of guys that worked with me, but it was pretty obvious. You guys, I remember I told you about Gerard. Gerard, he would steal movies and games. And Gerard would always do this. Always looking suspicious. So I guess number 10 would be more like management and employees. Quote unquote theft. Because in some cases it wasn't theft. It was just stupid things that cost so much money. But those were the 10 reasons why Blockbuster failed. And those were the 10 reasons that a person that merely worked in the store, could see. It doesn't take a genius to figure this stuff out. And they could have figured this stuff out a long time ago and saved their company. But as we all have known and as we all have seen, the people over the corporate office are incompetent. Absolutely incompetent. And it sickens me that these people get paid to do their job. They're essentially paid to sink a company. Well, anyway, that's all I've got to say about Blockbuster. I hope you all enjoyed the video. And I hope you all subscribe if you like me, because I like me. And if I could, I would subscribe to me. So anyway, guys, this is your Blockbuster critic. And I'll see you all later.